Hi, good evening and welcome to the IBD Ostomy Support Show. I'm Louise, aka Crohn's Fighting. Good evening. I'm ever sorry if I have to run off this evening, but I've not been great this week and my output has been ridiculously high. So if you see me drop my headphones, it's because I've got to go and empty. Unfortunately, Natalie's not joining us this evening due to her feeling unwell, and Steffi's not joining us this evening either. The guys, both of them will be back with us this week. So I don't have a clue what we're doing this week. I know it's to do with swimming with an ostomy, post-op exercise. I can do those ones. However, core 4, I have not got a Scooby-Doo. So what have I been up to this week? Monday, I went and got my daughter from her father because she come back after 10 days away. So yay. Tuesday, I went to the seaside with my mum to Broadstairs and the kids. Yesterday, I did bugger all and spent all day in my pajamas, and I pretty much did the same today. So I wasn't going to do this evening, but the other two girls couldn't do it, so I've jumped on, but or else I wouldn't have been here. So I will pass you over to Steve.
Hi, I'm Steve. Hashtag Baghdadi. Oh God. What have I been doing this? You like that? It's good, isn't it? I've been
I do like it.
Went laser quest with the kids. That was really good fun. No running, but we did anyway. I've worked Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I've my shutdown, which is a bit naughty, but money's needed. So we broke up last weekend. So I've worked Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Haven't really been doing a great deal more than that, to be honest. Had a few beers last night. That's pretty much it. That's where I am. I've had loads of messages from people about the swimming. I mean, loads. Unlike you girls, I have to write it all down. I haven't got like 4 computers surrounding me. So all mine's on paper.
I've been a busy girl. If you've all noticed, we've updated the page. We've updated
I know,
YouTube,
it's brilliant.
and we have
Looks brilliant.
We have Steve's lovely face right on the end of it.
Looking like a psychopath. That's all right. That's okay.
Yeah, you wasn't the one getting told off earlier today because I was messing about with Canva and apparently ruined the one that had already done. Whoops. Oh dear. So what have you been up to this week, Rach?
Okay, so hi, I'm Rachel, aka Rocking Two Stomas. I feel like I've not really pulled my finger out this week. I'm still suffering from Birmingham. I'm still tired from it, and obviously, you know, having to just go through a breakup and all that stuff. So I'm just a bit kind of not really doing what I need to do. I need to step it up really this week. But I've had lovely messages. I had an article went out in the UA journal, and it was amazing. And it was so, I've had such really good messages. So they've really cheered me up. And I've just kind of been doing a lot of self-love stuff and a lot of kind of affirmations and sort of kind of feeling good about myself again. So, and meditation and that. So I think I'm trying to concentrate more on my mentally this week than physically, I suppose. But I'm in quite a good place. I'm sort of I just got to next week get on it, start doing my work again, make a plan of the posts I've got to do. I've caught up with loads of mates this week, and it's just, yeah, it's been good. What about you, Louise?
Oh, I've been a busy beaver today. I know that I was relentlessly messaging you guys this morning, asking you for where you was living and which train station you were going from. Yeah. And I'm just screenshotting everything that I did and then emailing it over to obviously the lady that's dealing with it, and then looking for Airbnbs for us, because for those of you, there is one Thursday in October where unfortunately we won't be doing the show. However, there will be a professional recording going up at some point of what we got up to that Thursday. So that's all I can say at the moment, because until I've got the travel through, I can't say nothing. But no, it was lovely catching up with my mum on Tuesday. I'll admit I did get told off a lot. because I think I've got the starts of a hernia coming back on my right side, which is where my original hernia was fixed. Because I literally, I didn't have any support wear on Tuesday, sorry, at all, purely because I was going down to the seaside for the day. I had a maxi dress on, and you know when it's hot and your bag is, you know when it's hot and you've got the support wear on over your bag, and it makes the base plate go all funny, but it makes your skin itchy as well, doesn't it? And you get hives when you're really, really hot. Yeah. So sometimes it's just better to go without the support wear and not wear it. But what I'd done was I was sitting down and I leant back that way to grab something. I think my niece was trying to run off with the bucket at the time. And oh, it hurt. And I actually had to roll my nephew's hoodie up and sit up and hold it to me and push down
something
and
happened, did you?
Yeah, I felt it pop.
Did you feel it go pop? Did you
yeah.
It pop? That's like the classic sign of the pop.
Yeah, it went pop.
So
that's what I felt when I messaged you, Rachel, about I blew my nose to clear a blockage, and it felt like alien. I just felt everything come out in one go, and it really hurt. This was a while back now, but that was the start of my hernia. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, it wasn't pleasant, and
yes, it happened again. I think there's, I really love Comfy's like pants to hernia, campaign that they did, and I really like measures, because now I've got the hernia and the prolapse. I don't wear support wear much because it's just so painful with the prolapse, and it's something really in it in the preventative measure, because it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it, but it can so easily be done. You can sort of do as much as everything you're supposed to, and then you sneeze and it can happen. And there's quite a few people messaged me when I put the research poll out, and quite a few people have said that they've had it, even in hospital, where they've just sneezed exactly like you, Steve, and it's happened, or they've just twisted wrongly. It's so, I think it is common, but it's all about the preventative measures.
It's frustrating because sorry.
No, it is frustrating, Steve. Carry on. It's
frustrating because I've wore protective garments all while I was training. Like when I did the calendar thing. I really trained hard then, and I wore all the stuff that I was supposed to. When I was working on any core or bench pressing, anything to do with straining my stomach, I wore all the equipment needed, and I basically blew my nose, and that caused it. And I remember I drove over a pothole about a week later and felt a tear. But that was it. That was the only pain. And after that, it was just nothing. But when I cough now, I have to put my hand over there because I can feel it pushing out.
Yeah, that is the worst feeling ever. That is the most disgusting feeling you will ever feel in your life.
Actually, I think I know what tops it. A prolapse tops it, because that plus the bloody alien out of your body, like I want to swear. And then it's like, oh God. So yeah, no, I think the prolapse tops it, but I think what people don't know is that it starts with a hernia, then the hernia can go to a prolapse, and I think that's where people don't know about that. It's kind of, I'm very much about awareness of prolapses, because they're awful and they can happen so easily, and I think it's kind of that can happen, like lifting up all the time and that kind of stuff. So it's sort of making sure that doesn't go, because the hernia is hard enough to fix, but the prolapse in my case has been a nightmare.
Can they not,
whereas now surgery is an option.
Is it not an option?
Sorry, no, I've had 8
okay, go on, sorry.
No, because I got the urostomy, they can't refashion to the other side because of the urostomy, so I've got no space on my stomach. And then I've had eight failed refashions in the last year and a half to put it back in. They've tried everything, artificial mesh, they've put pig skin, I think. They've had, I've had so much stuff they've taken out. They've dissected muscles. They've I can't feel the whole of my right side. I can't feel it because they've just done so much to it. And no, and now surgery's not an option, and it's.
You think that like let's just say your prolapse is sticking out a few inches. You think they could just chop 2 inches off and start again with a new end, if you will? But obviously, it's not as simple as that.
Like what? I haven't got my jumper. What they described it to me is it telescopes in itself, so it kind of there's a bowel and it kind of goes in, and if you just chop it, it'll just keep going. And because I've got short bowel anyway, they can't chop any more off because I've already got short bowel syndrome. So for me, it's like I would go in, have surgery, and then it would fail again, and then it would be like, and then I went through the ups and downs, and now I just cope with it out. It's a lot easier than doing that back in, back out. That was hard. That was really tough, you know. And now I just kind of just deal with it. Like, it's out. I use ice. It's just, I just get on with it now.
You know, when
it's
it goes in, how sort of sticky outy is it when it's in? That's a scientific way of putting it.
It's between 8 to 10 inches, yours, isn't it, Rachel? Once it's out. Yeah,
it's about 8. Basically, when I wake up in the morning, it'll probably be out 4, and as soon as I stand up, I could feel it all go, and it literally, like a snake, falls out, and you could just like, and then it's like before. it looks like a willy though, but it does, because it moves as well. It's like, oh, it's gross. You've got a bit of humour of it. It is funny, but now it's all right. I've got used. You do, and I think you've got to add humour to it. But how I described it I wrote a post about it, blog post, and I said it's like the Alien film, you know, where the alien bursts out of his stomach, runs off. It looks exactly like that. But it's all right. It's like, you know, if anybody has a prolapse and wants to talk to me about it, then, you know, message me. It'd be nice to speak to other people that are going through it as well.
Yeah. Did you hear about that? You know, the chap that directed Alien. That scene was. He had Crohn's. He had Crohn's. He likened it to the pain from Crohn's.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, did he? I didn't know that.
It kind of says a lot, really, doesn't it?
That's really interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
so what's the topic to this week?
Well, it's half the reason why we started with hernias, because you've got the post-op exercises and core 4, which are supposed to tighten your abdominal muscles so you don't get hernias. However, for those of you watching, doing these exercises does not guarantee that you may not get a hernia. The reason being is it's dependent on age, weight, size. It's also dependent on where you've had the surgery done, how active you are. There's a lot of mitigating circumstances to having a prolapse and to getting a hernia, or getting to what, like Steve's got with his is it Aristotle? Did I say
Parastomal.
Right? Parastomal. So I nearly did. But with
you're never going to get out, Louise.
I've been watching way too much Harry Potter. But it's different. It's all dependent on the person. So it's literally luck of the draw. So you can do these exercises. There's no guarantee, but the exercise is good for you anyway. So
with the exercises on the video, so I did them once this week. I'm not going to lie. They show you doing them on your back. Obviously, they do say that you can do all this standing up once you learn how to do them. I think there was 4 exercises in total. Was that right, Rachel?
Yeah, 4.
Oh, of course there is. It's core 4, isn't it? But yeah, they weren't difficult, and I can imagine them working if you stick to it. I did them once, and then went and had a bacon sandwich.
Oh, Steve.
Oh dear me.
I'll admit, I was standing in CEX with Ben on Sunday, and he was flashing me these DVDs for like exercising and yoga and Pilates, and I stood there and laughed and put them back. No. Just imagine Nelly the elephant jumping around in a 3rd floor flat, and my neighbours underneath being not being very appreciative of the fact. Oh, so how did you guys find the core 4? Because I will honestly say I've been feeling like shit this week, so I haven't done them.
Rachel,
I really liked it. I really liked it. I thought it was there was a doctor that spoke at the beginning, and I kind of explained why it's important to keep your stomach muscles and why it's important to engage them. And I liked that. I think it was a physio, Steve, that did it.
Yeah, very quietly spoken physio.
he is quite. I gotta say, his voice was quite sexy. I quite enjoyed listening to his voice, to breathe in and breathe out, and that was quite good. I enjoyed that, and but I liked how it sort of really kind of. It's like if you go to a yoga or meditation class to talk about breathing, and it's so much on it is breathing. It's kind of it was just very gentle, very sort of kind of that you would think you would know about, but actually you don't really engage your abdominals, or you don't breathe. It's like we're so busy these days, all of us, that sometimes it's easy to forget to breathe. And I enjoyed it. I would like to do it more. I only did it once, but I would like to kind of do it more. But I think it would help. Like I had quite a bit of pain afterwards, but for me, like most of my muscles on the right side were taken to make a sling. So I'm going to get a bit of pain with it, but yeah, I quite enjoyed it. I like to sort of keep up with it if I can and build it that way. But it's
I'm the same. I'd like to do a bit. I've got to stick to. I've got to get into a pattern of doing it. There was a lot of hip flexing. There was a lot of pelvic floor tilts involved. It was good. I haven't really got much feeling in my stomach, as in muscle tone. I struggle, since I had my op, it's kind of like the feeling hasn't really come back. But it's definitely something that I'm going to continue. I'm going to watch a few times and do it as a regular thing. I think you've got, if you want any change from it,
you see,
that will obviously build some more sort of training then, won't it? Yeah.
See, there's a little secret with me. There's a reason why I don't do the core 4, and that's because I have no central abdominal muscles. I had those all removed due to it getting eaten alive by sepsis. So my stomach muscles, I don't know if you guys notice when I walk slightly off kilter. When I walk, I don't
noticed that.
No, I didn't know, like Charlie Chaplin.
Well, I'm quite clumsy anyway. I mean, you guys saw the amount of times I tripped over my own feet when I was in flats. But I had all my central abdominal muscles removed and I had a mesh put in. And then when they took the mesh out, they just took what was left of my obliques and stitched them back together. That's half the reason why I have problems with the hernias as well, because that muscle wasn't designed to hold in your insides. So mine will always try and find a way of getting out. And 9 times out of 10, it's always through the original surgery lines. That's where mine come out. I've had, in the last 10 years, I've had 3 hernias. No. I've had more than that. Sorry, I've had 4 hernias, because when I had the resection in 2012, I had 2 hernias repaired. And then when I had my ileostomy in November, I had another 2 hernias repaired, and they'd both appeared in different places. Again, they're just finding their way out around the original surgery lines. So it's pointless me doing the core 4. One, I have no feeling in my stomach. I can't feel anything. You could punch me and I don't feel it. I can feel the inside, but I can't feel the outside. So I've burnt myself. I've been barred from using hot water bottles because I burn my tummy and I don't even know I've done it because I can't feel it.
Yeah, is it numb? My right side is completely numb as well, and I'm the same as you, Louise. I burnt it from hot water bottles because I just can't feel it. It's like the whole of the muscle's gone from my right side. All of those muscles have been removed. Yeah, it's not the muscles; it's the nerve damage where they've gone in and out that many times for scalpel. The nerves are
not reconnected.
No, the nerves are just fucked. Would be the correct way of saying it. When you've had that much abdominal surgery, especially Rachel, because Rachel, I think you've had more than me.
I've had in a year. Are you in a year and a half? I've had 8 refractions, like full on through the scar, like 8 times in a year and a half, and that's just the 8. So I've had a lot more, but I think you're right, Louise. It probably is nerve damage in my case because I can't feel anything. It's like you could punch me in the stomach and I wouldn't feel it. It's bizarre.
Yeah, no, I'm exactly the same. I can feel a hernia coming out, but I can't feel anything from the top in, but I can feel it coming from the inside out. So that's why I don't do core 4. What else? Oh yeah, 7 years today. I got the all clear and was allowed to have a bath for the first time in a year because my open wound had finally healed.
I so miss not having the bath.
No
bath.
They installed a special chair into my house at the time, and I used to have to sit at the chair and wash at the sink for a year.
There's nothing better than just lying back and slouching in the bath, though, is there?
No.
It's not the same with the shower.
bath. I love it. It's just, I love it. I put a bit of meditation. I've got incense stick. It's where I relax. You know, I really like a bath. I couldn't cope if I didn't have one.
Sorry, I mean, how many of you were advised about the post-op exercise after having the surgery done? How many of you were given that little tiny sheet of paper
Yeah, I was
with the
given that.
exercises on?
Yeah, I was given that. I couldn't wait to get back to the gym, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, but I really sort of was scared to do any core work. Now, perhaps I should have done, you know, in the early stages, just soft stuff. But I just didn't feel, I felt like my stitches were going to pop open, you know. I didn't feel any real strength there. But now, you know, I'm ready to get back on it now. But we'll continue with this core forward and see where we go from there.
It's a good place to start, I think, isn't it? It's like, for me, because I've had surgery so many times, man, and like if you count in ileostomy and urostomy, I can't remember having a post-op exercise sheet. However, I will, when I was in hospital for the 3 months when I had the urostomy and I had C. diff, isolation, sepsis, all of it, TPN, all of it. They did give me, they made me do some, and it's very similar to the core for a lot of the kind of breathing exercises because I was getting chest infections and that. So they were trying to sort of get me out and do exercises in the chair because I wasn't allowed to walk around the ward. So I was stuck in a room like for 3 months, you know, not able to leave. And Louise had a similar experience, didn't you, Louise? And like, I kind of, for me, I need to do exercises in the room. So I did have a physio that helped me then, but I kind of just done it pretty much for myself. Like I used to love exercise. I used to do a lot of swimming. I did a lot of cross country, yoga. And I before I got ill, I was really into my exercise. And so I struggle that I can't do it as well. I love to do, I'm going to give yoga with this osteomyfit that Natalie came up with, that I'm going to start trying yoga, I think, and that kind of stuff, because I do enjoy it. It makes me feel good, but I always get a bit worried because of the prolapse. So we'll just see what happens. I just like to sort of build up my strength again, I think, and just feel better about myself, because I think, you know, when you've got hernias, prolapses, you do have to deal with a bit of body image stuff, and I think if you exercise, it kind of combats that a bit as well.
Yeah. And not only that, yoga's really good for meditation and breathing as well, isn't it? I'd love to do something like, I'd love to learn to do it properly.
Do you know
not only to become more supple, but it's about breathing and relaxation, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can't do yoga. I can't do yoga and I can't do Pilates because I'd get kicked out just because I laugh. I think it's funny.
I'm not going to a class to do it.
Everyone's so quiet and so serious in a yoga class until
I'd have to do it via YouTube or something, I'm sure of it.
Until someone passes wind or you are downwind. I'm sorry, but that's it for me. That's it. I'm off. I'm out.
Do you know what? We should, when we go to Cardiff, we should all do it. We should do like a yoga session or a meditation session.
I can't because I'll wet myself laughing. It's the sort of thing I can't help it. You know those people that laugh at serious moments. That's me.
Yeah, I do that.
Me too. Do you know what? Me and my best mate from school, we talked about this the other day when I saw her. We were doing a Welsh lesson in year 8 and trying to do this speaking Welsh lesson, and we're laughing. We're like laughing so much. We had to do it in front of the head teacher because we were just rocking laughing. Oh, I always laugh in serious moments, man. It's just, I'm terrible.
Well, if I remember the post-op exercises, one was you had to sit up straight, didn't you, and bring your knees up to your chest like this, and cough.
Yeah, cough.
Yeah, that was one of them. Okay, people say, why do that? It hurts. Okay, the reason being for that is especially after post-op when you've been laying flat open on a table for 8 to 12 hours, your lungs build up congestion, and it's actually preventative to stop you from getting pneumonia. And
we was told to put a pillow over our tummy as well when you cough.
So you've literally got to put a pillow in your tummy, so that's here. Well, you can't see where that here is, but
we know where a tummy is.
Yeah, you know where your tummy is. That's where you're supposed to put the pillow. And then you have to you have to bring your knees up, but you're supposed to have your feet flat on the bed. So I think the heels of your feet are supposed to be pretty close to touching your bottom. Now, for those of you that have had Barbie butt surgery, I can imagine that's not the most fun thing to be doing at the time. But obviously you have to deep breath in and then you have to cough, and that is literally preventative. It stops fluid from building up in your lungs, and it means you breathe better. The more oxygen you've got in your system, the quicker you heal. That's why now they have most of the hospitals have the enhanced recovery nurses, and that's why they have you up and out of bed within 24 hours of surgery, because they're sadistic sods.
Do you know what? I was in HDU intensive care after I asked my mum, one of them, after my urostomy surgery, and they got me out of bed, and I was so like, because I nearly went on the table because of my blood pressure and my heart rate went, my autonomic neuropathy, and I felt so poorly, and they made me get out of bed, and I was so not happy. But I get it now. Like when I went through the refashion surgery, I understood how important it was, like, to kind of get out and push. And I probably am one to push myself a bit too much. Like I will kind of think that I'm all right when actually I'm not. But you know, it's important. It is important to listen to them, because they see it day in, day out. You know, it is important to kind of get out of bed, even though it might feel like they are being sadistic. It's for your best interest, because you don't want a chest infection on top of everything else.
Then the other one that you've got to do for post-op is you've got to lie on your back. You have to bring your knees up to your chest, and then you sort of have to extend your thighs out a little bit, and you have to do the rocks.
Rocks, yeah.
Either side. Don't know what that one's for. I just thought that's like for crazy people like me.
Just so the nurses can have a laugh, I think. That one is.
But you're meant to do that one, and I'm not too sure what that's for, but that's another preventative or something.
It'd be obliques, wouldn't it? Surely
Yeah.
that would be stretching out, I think.
I think it's to do with your pelvis as well. I think it's keeping your pelvis open or something like that. I read about that a while ago.
It's when they give you
lying down for a while.
It's when they give you the sheets and you're like, but I've got a catheter in. How am I supposed to be doing that?
Oh my God.
And then what's the other one? There's another one. I
can't remember, you know.
I don't think I ever got that sheet. Seriously, I do not remember this sheet at all. I don't think I've had it. I just know what I got given, like sitting down when you're in the chair and lifting your legs up like that. You know, that was when I got told I had to do quite a bit, and that's painful when you've got the incision and all that stuff.
You see, I don't remember the sheets the first time round, but the reason being for that is I had a lot of physio and I had to learn how to walk again anyway. So I'm guessing at the time them giving me the post-op recovery sheets was pretty much a bit of a no-brainer at the time. When they was trying to make me climb up and down stairs with an exudate machine and an IV on the other one, because I still got my TPN in, and they've got me up and down like with things, and catheters in as well. So they're getting you up and walking, and you got all these things, and on a Zimmer frame as well. You know, when I'm 24 and I'm on a Zimmer frame, and I've got all these bits and pieces, and my stomach's all like literally wide open. I
think, do you know what? I think we don't talk enough about how much it impacts being in hospital, having tubes coming out of you. Like I had a superior catheter for 7 years. Now that is probably my worst experience out of all of it, and having my bladder removed is the best decision I've ever made, and I will keep on saying that, you know. But for me, it's really quite, when you're in hospital, you've got TPN. I had TPN this arm, I had fluids this arm, I had a central line as well because they were putting some other stuff in it. I had all these tubes coming out of you. You got like a urostomy. I had stents. I had drains. All of that. I think you don't realise how much it impacts, and it does impact. And this is like Louise was talking last week about counselling. It is so important that they start offering counselling after we've been through this major surgery. Not just the major surgery. All of the stuff before, how it affects us well-being, how it affects us mentally and physically and spiritually. All of that, it needs to be addressed, because there's like PTSD, people who have got PTSD, things that are coming out now, and it affects you big time.
They tend to concentrate just on the medical side, don't they, and rather than the actual.
Definitely, and I think there needs to be
what's going on in your brain. Yeah, I'm just going to open my curtains 2 seconds.
They try, you know, they try with the holistic. They say they try in the medical profession to look as a patient as a holistic whole. I believe personally they still struggle with that in aspects, and I think that counselling would bring it into the 21st century. And I think, Louise, you made a really good point to a professor, which I thought was really good, because something's got to be done, because it's just massive surgery. Any massive surgery that you go through, you need to talk about it afterwards, because you don't realise how much it impacts you.
No, you don't. And I think, you know, it's like I said, obviously, to Professor X and what I'm doing at the moment, that it needs to be something that's offered. And
say Professor X.
Yeah, I'm not allowed. I'm not allowed to go into full detail about
I thought,
it.
Wow, what a cool name.
I can talk about
That's
it, and I can talk about it, and I can mention it, but I can't go into full detail what could possibly be rolled out. I can say the ifs and the buts and the stuff that I've suggested, but I can't say that what it's all for and what I'm actually doing. So it's Professor X. It's mainly to do with patients' IBD, and it's more for the newly diagnosed than the existing patients. I know that sounds really bad, but I think it needs to be sorted from the beginning and not from 10 years later down the line, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, of course, because you tend to dwell on things, don't you? It's remarkable how you heal quite well from your operations and stuff. You know, well, I did. But a lot of psychological damage was done that you tend to hold on to for ages. You know, it's only sort of 17, 18 months down the line that you kind of start dealing with it.
Well, it's like...
And you're dealing with it on your own then, aren't you?
I mean,
it's so true.
Yeah, it's like the blog post that I had up on Monday, that went up on Tuesday, about like the love and hate relationship with food. You know, for those of us with IBD, I think the love-hate relationship with food is something that needs to be sorted before anything else. Because, I mean, how many of us have been under dietitians, and the dietitians, if they've got you on the liquid diets and they've got you on the medicated stuff, you are so closely monitored, it's unreal.
Can I just make a point? It's not just IBD as well. I think, you know, like this show isn't just for IBD. We cover IBD, but it's other things as well. But I think you're right, Louise. I think it's any sort of digestive, even bladder condition, anything. It all impacts food, and I think any medications you have, which again, like with the biologicals, where they affect your body weight or things like that. And if you're eating, you've got whether it's IBD, cancer, neurological conditions, you've had trauma, you've got issues with your bowel, you know, even IBS, if issues with your bowel, and that causes, and the eating food causes problems, then you're going to have an unhealthy relationship with food from the offset. And I think, you know, again, that's not addressed as well, because then it can go into eating disorders. In Steffi, in my case, you know, it can sort of branch, and then it's kind of this downward spiral that you feel you can't talk to anybody about. And, you know, and it needs to be caught before it goes into, like, in my case, you know, misusing my pain medication. My mum's going to write a post about what it's like to have a terminally ill daughter, and it's going to be a hard read, I think. But Mum was just saying, like, she said, you were a nightmare. You were a nightmare on the medication. You were just, I was like gouged out, like, all the time, like. But that was my coping mechanism. That was, I just wanted the fentanyl cloud of, like, off my face, and it was, you know, it wasn't. Like, now I can see past that. I don't want anybody. It makes me feel sad that people are like that, because they're not caught soon enough in the spiral of kind of health and mental decline. So that's something I feel quite passionate about, and would like to, I don't know how, but if, in the future, maybe look at.
Well, it's only going to help people, that is, isn't it? If you can prevent just someone feeling down and going down that route, that's, you know, that's brilliant.
I mean, what else are we going on to? We're going on to swimming. So were either of you two told originally that you couldn't swim with a stoma?
No, not at all. I was told swimming would probably be one of the best exercises for me.
Oh, really?
My stoma nurses, yeah, they were brilliant. Really? My stoma nurses really, really helpful. That's
really encouraging, because I was told I could. However, I've witnessed, while I've been in hospital, nurses say that you can never bath and swim again. So to hear that stoma nurse saying that is encouraging. But I personally, I didn't swim very well. Like, no, I love swimming, but with my swimming, I kind of, when I had the prolapse and all the surgeries, they kept going in the scar. I just didn't, and I was a bit scared to swim. But now I love getting back to my swim. Like swimming is where I'm supposed to be. In the water is like where I think, oh, that is my birthplace. Like I just feel totally myself in the water. I just love it. And whenever I think about it, I've got this little smile on my face because it's where I feel most myself. And it's just the thought of not being able to swim and people getting the wrong information regarding swimming, you know, is a bit sad.
I don't swim half enough. I should do. The only time I go swimming really is if I'm taking the kids and then we're whacking the ball about. I might do 2 lengths and then I'm back with the kids again. So I've got to start making the effort to go on my own, you know, and actually do swimming. It's a brilliant exercise.
Well,
it's all round, isn't it?
And it's great for meditation. Yeah, and meditation as well, because I find that, you know, I like it for the meditation. And one time though, I do remember about 4 years ago, I was with my ex, no, 3 years ago with my ex, and we went swimming. I've not swum for about 5 years, and I did 60 lengths off the cuff, and then that's when my prolapse really was horrific. And so I think it's about, you need to take it easy. Like I have an all or nothing personality, so you know, I
stroke kind of, was that caused that?
Breaststroke.
Was it?
Breaststroke. Yeah, I did a 60 lengths breaststroke and it caused, but no, actually I'm front crawl as well. I just went for it. He said I look like a dolphin in the water, and he was like, who's this fit girl like swimming, like looking professional? And it was me. And then because I used to swim like in lifeguards and stuff, so I've still got that, and I just overdid it. So but I think swimming, I had a really good message by somebody that said that about that they go swimming in the sea, and they also said that they wear their bags out because it's a badge of survival. And I just loved that little quote, like badge of survival, and I thought that was really
nice,
poignant, and yeah, it was nice. It was a nice way to describe them.
I've had loads and loads of messages about the swimming this week. Absolutely. Have you? Tons of them. Yeah, and I didn't post till about sort of Tuesday. I'm glad I didn't post.
I put mine out Tuesday. I've had a few replies as well, but I'll let you go first.
Right then. One chap, now let me find him out of this list of people. He basically got refused to go to the swimming. Where is he now? Let me see. He said, I can mention his name. His name's Gaz Penno. His swimming baths won't let him in the pool. Risk of contamination, having a stoma. I was seething. You know, with a lot of people, I just sort of I was absolutely. I thought, you know, papers go to your newspaper, your local. And he said, he said that they're not really interested. That the newspaper's not going to cover that sort of thing. Someone else posted to say that they'll follow that up for him and go to the nationals, because you know you're about as much likely to contaminate the pool as anyone without a stoma. You know, you still have your bum and your genitals in the water, don't you? It's just ridiculous. I found myself really angry with that. And the fact that, you know, already his confidence is at an all-time low. You know, that's just going to make you feel even worse. I
had a similar experience when, and I will mention Valentine in Bristol. I was in the wait. I had my ileostomy, and I had my suprapubic catheter, and I had my leg bag on with the wee bag on my leg, and I just had, I think it was the beginnings of being ill. I didn't have my ileostomy then. It was the catheter, and I got these old women in there who said that you shouldn't be here. The likes of you should be in hospital. You know, you shouldn't be around us and all that. Yeah, wow. and back then I felt so low about myself. I just ran out crying. Now I would actually stand up and say,
yeah, I get that. Totally get that. I would have probably felt the same way, you know, but the more people I hear saying these sort of things, you know, the more angry I'd get if someone even questioned me. I would try my very best to embarrass them in front of everybody. That would be, you know, because my fight is there now. I don't want to be just. Sorry.
No. Carry on. You go. You don't want to be.
No, I'm not going to be ignored. I'm not going to be hide myself. This is me. If they don't like it, it's tough. It's not like I'm going out there without a bag on. Then they want to worry. You know what I mean? 'Cause
That's exactly how I feel.
it'd be like the red arrows swimming through the water, leaving a trail. we won't go there. We won't go there. You have to swim really fast. Do you know what I mean, though? Honestly, God, since having my bag, I can't think of a cleaner way of getting rid of your waste, to be fair. It's much better than the old way, honest to God. And I'll stand by that. I tell everyone the same thing. It is, though, isn't it?
I'm not saying anything like that now.
Oh, my God.
Oh, God.
You know, it's going to get mad likes.
Well,
I bet you'll get about 1,000 messages now.
I'll admit, the first time with my ileostomy, I didn't go near the swimming pools at all, but I had an open wound, I had an incisional hernia, I had a bag that constantly leaked. So let alone trying to get a size 10 figure into a size 16 swimming costume just to accommodate for the fact that I had all that loose baby tummy with an open wound and big flappy bits. That's literally what it was. I had a better front bottom than I did a back bottom. That is what we call the open wound. It was my front bottom. And I
we've all got front bottoms, haven't we, now?
You do.
That's not... anyway.
I've had Lauren Henderson says, yes, I do. I just get my swim kit and off I go. That was the quickest message I've ever had, so I mentioned her. Molly Carroll says she just wears a smaller bag. So you know, it fits in a bikini, and she's gone. She's living in Canada now, she is.
Yeah, I mean, all the responses that I had off of Instagram, every single one was positive. There was no negative at all.
No negative at all?
No.
I had somebody that was still not having the courage to go, you know, and sort of, and I do believe that comes in time, you know, that comes in when you feel more confident in your body. And whether, you know, sometimes I go with a small bikini and them out, sometimes I wear the vintage bikini with them in. It just depends how I feel on the day and what ones I have in my bag, you know. But I would say, I like to say a little bit about the preparation, because, you know, if you are going to use tape extenders, you know, if you are concerned that your bag's not going to stay on, to put the tape extenders on the day before you go. Because if you do, I've done it a few times, and it's just, I put them on before I go in, and it's just a mangled mess of like sludge and stickiness, and it's just, you know, it's better to put it on the day before, and it works wonders. I've had no leaks swimming, you know. It's sort of, it's been brilliant, really.
I've had the base plate come away a little bit on the sides. Obviously, you know, you're not going to get that sticky back, so you just got to go and change. And a lot of people using the stickers, which for months and months I didn't know what they were for.
Yeah, no,
they ended up in the bin with all the other circular measurement stuff and that.
I'm actually doing a storage stoma supply post soon. And actually going to write down what those stickers are for, so people know what those stickers are for. Do you know when you get them in the box and you're just like, eh?
I've had my ileostomy for 5 years, yeah, and it's only the last, since I've become in the groups, the ostomy groups, do I know what they're for. I had no clue. I was sticking them on my work, like I was doodling on them and stuff, because I was like drawing little like cartoon figures with the stick. I just didn't have a clue.
I was using them to stick Macy's art projects together for school because I couldn't find the sellotape.
Oh my God. Crazy.
They have more than one use.
We all know Kelly.
Yeah.
Kelly's been killing it on the swimming. She wears a normal bikini. I'm sure you've seen.
Yeah.
She doesn't cover the filter. She uses a Mio, Sensor Mio Convex. Does 75 lengths and has a bagless shower, which I was surprised at. I thought, you know, you're going to get a few faces looking at you, but I suppose as long as you're not losing any output, you know, it's a risk that I wouldn't take. But fair play to her.
No, fair play, because that's a risk I wouldn't take, because I would end up covering everybody in the showers next to me if that was mine.
That's. No, we use them exactly the same with the high output. Similar, I know mine would be, and with Bob, like 10 inches long, it would look like I had a willy. So yeah, that wouldn't be me.
Kudos to Kelly for doing that, because she's not that long posted, is she? And that obviously the last 5-6 weeks she's been posting it every week about going swimming. And this week I know she went with her kiddies, didn't she? It's the first time she'd taken them since having the op.
She lost a bag nearly come off this week.
Yeah, but well done to her, because you know, she's showing other people.
She just embraced it, to be fair.
You know,
when she was at the Purple Wings, I went up and spoke to her, because I really like, she's doing amazing for like 9 weeks post-op, and to go swimming and posting it gets other people going. It's really good. I think it's great showing that you can still, I'm all about kind of living your life, doing, you know, loving your body, doing what you want, relationships, all that stuff, all of it in having stomas, whether it's 1 or 2. And it's nice that she does that, because it gets, like, I looked at go, oh yeah, I might go swimming in the next day, and it prompts me to go swimming, you know. And I think it's done that to so many people, and it's great.
But I think she's proven a point, and that point is she's embraced it. At the end of the day, she can't change what's happened. She's embraced it. She's going out there and she's living her life and getting on a normal, not thinking, oh my God, what are other people going to think?
That's exactly it. You know, you've hit the nail on the head there. She's really confident. She doesn't give a shit what people think. And I think if you've got that, then you're only going to go up, aren't you? You're not going to get, you know. And if she's depressed, I don't think she shows it, because she's kind of like, this is it. She, you know, she doesn't cover her bag up at all. If she was wearing a sort of a top with midriff showing, then it's not going to bother her.
No,
if I'm going swimming. Sorry.
Well done to her. Hats off to her, because she's proving, you know, just.
However, what we do have to say is that not everybody is able to get to the place where Kelly's at, and it's amazing that Kelly's done amazing, and she helps, you know, get me to go swimming again, and sort of remind me to go. But some people it's longer, and it just shows, doesn't it, that it doesn't matter how long you've had the stoma, it's a journey in itself, from your health to your stoma, and it's your journey. We cannot say that you're going to love your body by the end of it, but through these shows, hopefully you can see that you can live a normal life and ask questions and things.
Well, no, I'll be perfectly honest. I've been water aerobics and everything since having my surgery done, and I've gone in a full swimsuit. Okay, albeit a very expensive vanilla blush swimsuit, but I still went swimming. But obviously I had the swimsuit because I was doing water aerobics. When you're doing water aerobics, you can't wear a 2-piece with a stoma. You need that support to make sure the git stays. But
a lot of people wouldn't.
Also, your boobs as well.
Quite happy.
What, my boobs?
A lot of people are quite happy to sort of keep it to themselves. You know, they're not going to get to where Kelly is. That's just not in their nature anyway. So, you know, obviously each to their own. It's getting to a happy place for yourself, isn't it?
I think that's a really good point, and a really good argument. I think not argument, but a good point, because, you know, some people have said to me, why do you feel the need? You have to show it, and you have to, and it's like for us that we're out and are proud of it and shouldn't care what anybody else thinks. I think we do have to sort of be mindful that some people aren't like that, and some people think, you know, believe that it should be hidden. But personally, for me, I will have them out if I need to. I'll go on the beach of it if I want to get suntan, and I'll wear them out. You know, I'm proud of them.
I'll be perfectly honest. I'm going on holiday at the end of this month, and I'm taking bikinis with me. I'm not taking a swimsuit with me, but obviously I've had a child. I've got scars. I've got stretch marks and a lopsided belly. So I don't wear small bikini bottoms. I wear the high-waisted ones, and my bag you'll see my bag a little bit at the top. And sometimes, depending if I've got the really big get on, you'll see the bag just poking a little bit out of the bottom of my bikini bottoms at the side, because I wear my bag on a tilt, and my bag's quite big, and obviously because my stoma is quite low down, my bag comes quite far down my leg. So yeah, I'm going to be wearing a bikini. I'm going to be wearing a 2-piece.
That's great, Louise. Well done.
The difference is obviously my figure, I'm a little bit more rounded than some people, so I just cover up a bit more. But it's personal preference. At the end of the day,
it is.
You should be allowed to wear what you want to wear when you want to wear it, regardless of any other sod's opinion.
That's right. I mean, I'm not at all embarrassed by my bag. You know, it saved my life. It's made my life so much better. But when I go swimming, I'll either wear like a regular pair of shorts and a band, just really to keep it close to my chest, to my stomach, or my vanilla blush, which come higher. I don't particularly like it flapping about. I don't feel comfortable with it flapping about. More about, I wouldn't know if it'd come off. Do you know what I mean?
you have other instances, like when you go swimming, did you know that half the swimming pools now have family changing rooms that have got a shower in the room? So if you don't want to shower out and about with everybody else, then you can shower in that room and still have the option to be able to change your bag whilst in that room before you come out the swimming pool.
Mine don't. I think the ones that I've been to don't have that option. But one thing I will say as well that. Yeah, neither is Bournemouth or Boscombe. but it's quite funny because it's important to say, I think if you are going to swim and you're going to swim and do lots of lengths, and I think Kelly did mention this as well, that to wear some sort of protection, because I think it does pull if you're going to do that much. I think I noticed the more lengths I do, the more I'm thinking, oh, maybe I should wear like a band or something, because you can sort of feel it pulling.
You can wear the bands, or you can wear something that's just got a bit of tummy control around the middle.
Exactly.
So if you are doing more hardcore exercise and more hardcore swimming, then sometimes it's just better to go for a full piece or a one-piece swimsuit, or with like what Kelly's wearing, a bikini, but with a support belt that goes around the middle, just to keep that all supported and tucked in. Just so you don't feel like you're going to lose the bag whilst you're in the deep end and having to tread water at 7 foot deep.
Clinging onto your stoma.
Yeah, well, it's like that option when your bikini top breaks in the swimming pool and flings from the back. Do you hold the top on, or do you hold the top on and tread water in hopes that somebody's going to poach you your t-shirt, or do you just go for it and just go, oh hell, never mind?
Another gentleman said that he cling films his bag up. He didn't say whether he wanted it to be mentioned, so I'm not going to. But he cling films his bag up and wears like an elasticated belt over the top to keep it dry, which I was a bit baffled with that, to be fair, because obviously they're all waterproof.
That is rather amusing, and you know, the cling film just reminds me of the bit out of Full Monty where he's wrapping himself up with cling film in a Mars bar. Sorry, that's just whenever anybody ever mentions cling film around tummies, that's it for me. I just think Full Monty. But it sort of defeats the object though, because obviously you're doing the cling film, and then you're doing the belt. But
I wondered whether he's cling filming around his body, like if he was trying to lose weight and sweat it out, you know. In which case, it's going to probably sweat under there. Or how would you cling film a bag, you know? Yeah,
but it's sort of counterproductive though, because you're sticking that round and then you've got the belt over the top, but that cling film's going to make it sweat, so therefore the bag is going to have the more likelihood of sliding off, or getting a yeast infection underneath the base plate because of the sweat.
I can understand why somebody would be a bit worried that the bag's going to go off in the water. I get that, but yeah, you're right. Really makes so much sense. I think to be honest, the extenders, the base plate extenders. I hate using that word, but the other word, so I use base plate extender. Yeah, because that's what we used to call it in Wales. Like, well, it was our Welsh word for it. So yeah, the base.
It's not just Wales. I think it's universal. That word.
Is it? I thought it was just a Welsh thing.
It's a school word, isn't it?
You're lucky they never called them twats, then, aren't you?
I'm sorry, Mum, for this conversation.
Twat extenders. Oh my God. You should do this after 9, I think.
Oh, it hurts. You're here. My stomach's laughing so much. Sorry.
Very lovely.
Another lady says she's always swam with her stoma. Now she has a fistula. It frightens the life out of her, so she doesn't bother anymore. She's scared.
I had a fistula, and I swam with my fistula, and I never had a problem. As long as it was covered whilst I was in the pool. Believe it or not, it's harder for things to get in it than it is to come out of it. I know that because of the amount of barium X-rays I had down it with a tube trying to shove it down.
I didn't have enough knowledge on fistulas to comment, to be fair. So you
can go swimming with fistulas as long as they're covered up. It's not the likelihood of your fistula getting infected is next to none. I mean, I had my fistula for Jesus, 8 years. I went
Would it be the
swimming
level
in the
of
sea.
fistula as well? How deep or how
It depends.
open?
I think it depends where it is and whether or not they've had any abscesses drained around the fistula area. So if you've just got a fistula and you've got that covered up, you're absolutely fine. But then then the other remits that you go into is if you've got the abscess around the skin or you've got the cellulitis around the site. That's a completely different story. But if you've just got a normal fistula that's coming out, you can go swimming with it. It's not an issue. I've been snorkeling in Malta. I've been down the Camino and all sorts with my fistula, and I've been to Egypt with my fistula, and nothing ever happened. I was fine. I'd always been swimming, never had a problem.
So I've never been abroad with my stoma yet, so I haven't witnessed really hot weather on a daily basis. Obviously, we've had 2 days of hot weather in England.
It wasn't 2 days. It was more than 2 days.
It wasn't 2 days.
Do you know what I mean?
It was a week. It was a nightmare.
I know. But you know, like when you're abroad, if you're literally wearing your t-shirt and your flip-flops, and that's pretty much it. Sorry, your shorts and your flip-flops, and that's it. And you're constantly sweating all day. I've never witnessed that sort of weather with having a bag on. So I'd be interested to know whether the sticky has problems then.
It's not any different, and there's a lot of people that suggest ways around it to stop your skin from sweating. Whether it's proven or not, I don't know. But the amount of people that have said that spray deodorant around your skin and let it dry before putting the base plate on, because apparently that's meant to stop the skin from sweating. I honestly couldn't tell you, because it's not something I've ever tried. However, I used stoma bags whilst I was on holiday when I had my fistula, and not once did it come off due to sweating. I think the way it is with the bags and the way the bags work is it's dependent on whether or not you've got a good enough seal when you've put the bag on. If you've done everything correct and your skin's healthy and you've got the bag on and you've not changed anything, then it's absolutely fine. I think the ones where people say that the bags slid off, they probably do, but I always take that with a pinch of salt, because I don't get how your bag could just slide off. Yeah.
Obviously, you got to, if it's adhered to properly in the start, if you're trying to stick it to an already sweaty body, it's not going to work, is it?
The only time that I've known a bag to slide off or to peel to one side when I had the really sore skin back in December, and I was having constant leaks and it was just getting out underneath because it wasn't sticking. That's the only time I've ever literally had a bag sort of come off. But that was from output, not from sweat.
Well, do you know what I do? Like I don't do it so much anymore. But when I first had my ileostomy and then my urostomy, is I used to put them in my bars. So I used to clean them and sort of, and then the seal, the thing would be quite warm. And the stoma nurse suggested that to me because I was having problems getting the seal and that. And so that was quite good. So I thought that was a good tip. But it's not for everybody. But it just meant that, because they did say to me to use a hairdryer as well to kind of help mold it on. So I was struggling for some reason, I don't know why, I was struggling to get a seal when I first had the stoma bag. So that's what their suggestion was.
Yeah, I think it depends. It depends how hard the base plates are as well, to be perfectly honest with you, because you get different base plates that have got different hardness.
Well, Pelican's very soft and foamy, whereas Coloplast is a lot harder than the Pelican.
Yeah, but I find the Coloplast stick down just as quick as the Pelican bags do. The ones that I think the ones
the new ones, the old Coloplast took ages. Like 5 years ago, old Coloplast, they took ages to go down. They were quite hard and rigid. They're a lot thinner now and better stickiness.
Because the ones that I struggled with before the skin allergies was the Hollister and the Dansack, and having to lay there for 5 to 10 minutes with your hand on, like superheated hand, to get it to mold and to stay thingied.
So Louise, what's the topics next week?
Do you know? It's not. I don't know. It's where I've been off sick. I'm sorry. I've not been well.
I can't remember either. I've been racking my brain. I can't remember what we said. Was it about yoga or running? No.
And I'm having a look. No, it's hydration supplement.
Hydration.
And what difference does hydration and exercise make? Is what we're covering next week.
Brilliant.
I saw. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
I saw a really funny story on one of the forums. I don't know if I could quickly say it. Probably take about 2 minutes.
Is this the lady? I think, yeah.
Which one?
Is this the one with the spider?
Yes, it is.
Go on, say it.
Go and say it.
Oh, 1 second. I've got a phone call going, so all I can hear is the music in my ears. Yes, it said it is that story. It said just had the most disastrous 15 minutes. We'll set the scene. She's getting ready for bed, and she went to the loo to give Harriet's bag her final empty. She sat back on the loo, and halfway through, the most ginormous, thick, hairy-legged beast of a spider came from under the seat and onto Harriet's bag. I kid you not, this thing had boots and boxing gloves on. I screamed the place down, and as I jumped up, 3 things happened. My dressing gown belt fell down the toilet, right through the poo. You can picture it, can't you? I knocked the toilet roll on the wall, and the invisible Andrex puppy proceeded to unroll into a pile on the floor. Can you hear that?
Yeah, we can hear you fine, lovely.
Okay, all I can hear is music in my ear.
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
The chest of drawers that holds all my supplies and the bottle of perfume on the top smashed onto the concrete floor, all while she's trying to wipe the monster thing off her still emptying bag, while the rest of the contents went down her night dress.
Oh no.
If you've ever had Have you ever had to take a night dress over your head when there's poo inside it?
Yeah, done that.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
She's cleaned up, but she can't find the spider. Not a lot of sleep for her tonight. You have to excuse me. I was trying to talk with my phone ringing in my ears.
Did she say something about her bathroom now smelling of poo and cheap perfume? Bless her heart. I think we've all been there, and we've all done that with the wrong one. Jesus, they had to cut me out of my night dress when I was in hospital. Do you remember me saying to you guys, I was bawling my eyes out because they'd cut my time for tea nighty down the middle. But that wasn't because of a stoma leak. They took a load of scar tissue out of my uterus and didn't tell me that I was going to look like I was hemorrhaging to death after the surgery. So I put one leg up on the bed, put the other one up, and it just went floodgates. I actually thought I was bleeding to death at the time, and they had to cut me out of my nightie because I was just covered in blood. Because I couldn't lift it over my head because I still had the drains and everything and the IVs in. But anyway, on that note, we was talking about people that have managed to find a nice big hairy spider. And talking about being covered in blood and cutting off nighties. We're going to say good night for this evening. We will be back next week, hopefully with a full team, as long as everybody else is recovered. And we'll say bye.
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 Good night.